Hey folks, it's the Red, and welcome back to the Banjo Kazooie Grunty's Revenge Blind Run. This is the first of the two videos in this blind run that will be done with post-game commentary because I did not record my blind voice along with this gameplay. So, after exploring around a bit, I had discovered this back area where we found a honeycomb heart piece and a new move. The new move that I would need in Freezing Furnace. Okay, Banjo, time to get that feathery frump to take advantage of your big bones with the brilliant Bill Drill. Don't tell me I have to touch your dirty tools, Boz-Eye. Listen careful now. This is an advanced move. First, you gotta get yourself in the air with any jump you like, then press L to give Grunty's Battens a shakedown. If you drill on loose ground, you might shake things up a bit. And yeah, this was definitely the move I was looking for. This will be the thing that can be used to break through the floors back into Grunty Industries. Oh, and I love how he tells us about how to beat these gremloids right here. This would have been very useful information earlier when I first arrived in Spiller's Harbor. But better late than never, I suppose. I suppose that's my fault for not coming and getting this move sooner. Anyway, we use the Bill Drill in this hole here. A Jinjo pops out, and that's number 5 for Bad Magic Bayou. The Jiggy appears, and I will soon be making my way over there. So yeah, as long as I had the Bill Drill, I decided I should probably go ahead and get some more Jiggies from around this area. I had remembered that there was another piece of crumbled ground in this area, so I decided to come by over here and drill this part as well. And more of those blob enemies come out, but this time we know how to handle them, so no problem. Another one pops out of the wall. We kill it. And one more Bill Drill to make the Jiggy appear. Between this one and the one that we'll get from the Jinjo Oracle, that'll be 9 Jiggies for this stage. Apparently I thought I could Bill Drill that. I'm not sure what I was thinking there. Here I'm just trying to find the way over to the Jinjo Oracle. Trying to retrace my steps. But after Spiller's Harbor and a good portion of what I did in Freezing Furnace, the platforming around here wasn't too bad, and here's the Oracle telling us about Spiller's Harbor. It would be nice to listen to the Oracle in between stages, but that's neither here nor there. It's time to head back to Freezing Furnace and bring closure to this floor panel. So, a Bill Drill, and in we go. Into the Furnace Stores. Home to lots of boxes. You know of another type of box that we might find here? That explodes? Yeah, TNT boxes. Those kind of caught me by surprise. More than once, actually, because there were a few points here where it looked like it hit me, where it looked like it wouldn't have hit me, but then it did. Like that one. I was on top of the boxes, but I still got exploded, so that was a thing. So I was looking around for a bit, wondering if there was a chance to use the Wonder Wing anywhere. But alas, there is not. Yeah, and look right there. That didn't look like it should have hit, but it did. Talking to the Jinjo Oracle, he gives you a hint about where to go. We all know that. But here he's telling us how to get to the boss fight, which, by this point, I had already done. And here's a honeycomb heart piece, being guarded by a TNT box. I decided to just take the hit. Thought that might be easier. And we're heading across the bridge, and oh, surprise, enemy! Yeah, we're all too familiar with these, so I thought I'd bust out the ice egg to try and kill it, but that just froze it in place. So I decided to just wait for it to go back into the pipe and then run across, where we find a note nest. And on the return trip, we discover the location of the Jiggy, try to fly over it, but instead fall and die to our death. Die to our death! Okay, that's a thing. So I head back over there, leading away TNTs wherever I can, just trying to get the general trouble out of the way, making use of invincibility frames. I didn't immediately see it, but there is a green pad behind those boxes which can be used to get up to that Jiggy. See, here I am using it. And that's number 4. Other than revisiting with the Jinjo Oracle, there's not a whole lot else to do over here. So I was making my way towards the exit. So with this little hole done for the moment, there was one other pad that needed to be visited. That was this one. And it leads to blistering buttons. An area covered in smog and gradually damaging you. Kind of like the smoggy woods back in Bad Magic Bayou. Only this is a lot worse. See, the name of this challenge, and I figured this out rather quickly, is that you have to take all these letters and spell out the word Gruntilda. I actually figured out that it had to be Gruntilda pretty quickly. Just looking at the general letters, I noticed that they all were there to spell Gruntilda, and that's what I went for. So, the only other problem was being able to perform a build drill to press all these buttons. See, the thing about the smog here is that it can damage you while you're in the middle of your pre-drill animation, which could cancel you out of your build drill and make it harder to get all the buttons hit. So you have to be really quick about this. If I'm totally honest, I don't care much for this challenge. Hooray, I got all the buttons pressed, but I've only got 1 point of health, so guess what? Dead. Yeah, I didn't care much for this challenge. I was a little hesitant to press A there because I was like, really? Did this really just happen? Unfortunately, right at the past, yes, this did happen. And yeah, you can see the consequences of trying to go too quickly. I just flat out missed the U there the first time. And using the Talon Trot to pick up all this health is a pretty good way of restoring it and saving time. And see, there's an example of the smog canceling me out of my build drill animation. And leaving hardly enough time to be able to collect it. And once again, stopped short of collecting my Jiggy. Oh, this challenge. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the one where I complete it, though. Look how little time I waste between jumping and then pulling out the drill. I use a Talon Trot to get myself back to full health for about a split second. There's really no time to wait around for this particular challenge. But eventually I did have enough health at the end to be able to pick up the Jiggy. But then it was a matter of how do we get out? Then I noticed this platform over here and quickly jumped across. Picked up all the goodies. With just enough time to get out of there, with 1 point of health. I was glad to have this one done. But, of course, getting out of here is a whole other matter. Yeah, I wasn't going to get far with only 1 point of health. But it was time to go back to the freezing area. where we would go say hi to Mumbo with our new Mumbo token. Yes, Mumbo will have a new transformation for us, so let's go ahead and check that out. I think that image should be pretty apparent. And just in case it isn't, Mumbo call this tank. Use tank to break through tank door. Metal feet. Make tank safe to go through harmful areas. Tank no can jump. Press B to fire tank shot. I was a little confused at first about what Mumbo meant by harmful areas, quote-unquote. Oh, and you can't go through tornadoes. I also thought the tank would be needed to take out the explosives, but no, that's not it either. Anyway, the harmful areas I thought he was talking about were maybe the frozen water that kept killing me as soon as I go into it, but nope. That just crashed my tank. Frozen water now crashes your tank. This game was always good at making sense. Anyway, I go around and collect a few goodies, but eventually I'll be making my way to that tank door up to the north. To the north, past red. But yeah, you can't go that way because Mumbo is like, nope, you can't do that. Look at that. Took out that gruntling that takes like 5 hits to destroy, beaten in one shot with the tank. This thing is pretty cool. I wish there was more uses for it. But the area in which you use the tank is pretty limited. Anyway, by coming down here, I discovered that green pad button, which I would need to come down here with Banjo in order to press. For some reason, driving over it with the tank doesn't quite cut it. And here we have a bit of a challenge that I lost a couple of lives trying to figure out how it works. Basically, step on each panel once. You've probably seen a puzzle like this before, and you probably didn't drop straight down playing it. But here's how you do it properly. Just drive along, each panel disappears as you walk on it, get to the end, and a jiggy appears. Simple stuff. Now I thought this was a platform that I could go on, but no, it was part of the background. Herp in the derp. But then again, was it herp in the derp? Or is Rare just not articulating what's foreground and what's background very well? Frankly, I blame the Game Boy Advance. It doesn't exactly have a lot of color options going for it, so it's pretty easy to mix up the foreground and background. The Donkey Kong Country remakes were pretty guilty of this as well. Anyway, I went back and changed back to Banjo, hit the button, and now we can use the jump pad, which thankfully is not on a timer. I have no idea how they expect players to be able to make that jump. It just, on the return trip at least. I just don't see a way over there. Anyway, with the pad now activated, it was time to get up there. If the enemies will allow it. Decided to make short work of them, and then get up the platform where we find another gold nugget. The other one's going to be across. And there's 7. I knew those gruntlings wouldn't be clever enough to hide all the nuggets. I know just what to do with all that gold. So after picking up that other note, it was time to head on over there. Quick, Banjo! Give her the nuggets! She's looking a little pale! Very good, Kazooie. Very good. Anyway, she drops the nuggets into the slot, and a jiggy is formed. And all is fantastic. I decided to come back over to the freezing area again, this time with the candle, to see if maybe this could take out the explosives. And sure enough, it did. And I simply did not understand why that worked and not the fire eggs, considering it's basically the same element. But I didn't think too much of it, I just went inside and got this blue Jinjo. But then another idea came to mind. Maybe I could use the candle to break away that ice block back over by the Jinjo Oracle looking thing. Well, so after many attempts with that candle, I was convinced that there was no way I was going to get it across all that ice, and decided to just go over there as Banjo and maybe ponder some ideas on how I could break that ice. But seriously, the instant death water for the candle was just killing me. I guess I can't hold a candle to this level. Anyway, I decided to bust out the fire eggs to try and break it, and sure enough, it did. And boy did I feel foolish for trying to get the candle over here. Anyway, with a quick bill drill, the Jinjo comes out of the hand, and we managed to pick it up, and that is all 5. The Jinjo Oracle is now ready to give us another Jiggy. So I decided I should go ahead and hurry up and head back over to Grunty Industries. Let's speed it up. With your dedication to finding the Jinjos, I'm sure you'll be brave enough to face Gruntilda in her lair. Foreshadowing! But that was all the Jiggies that I managed to get a hold of in that stage, so I decided to head back to Spiral Mountain. But of course, by leaving now, that put me 1 Jiggy short of being able to go to Jiggy Wiggy. But thankfully, I knew just the place to go and get it, and also look, was it just me or did that whiplash cause a good bit of knockback there? Well, whatever the case. A bill drill on this spot here, and the Jiggy falls out of the tree. Wonderful. With that, I was now on my way to Jiggy Wiggy. I would have jump cut this part, but it would only take out like 10 seconds. But that's 50 out of 50. So let's go say hi to Jiggy Wiggy once more, for one last time. We're on our way to Grunty's stronghold. And for one last time, on to the Crystal Jiggy. In the spiral rise, the doorway is opened up, And as you can see, we don't need any more jiggies to open up any more areas, so all stages are now accessible. At this point, I am now making my way up to the spiral rise to try and get inside Grunty's lair. I'm also making my life very much difficult, more so than it needs to be. You'll see how in a moment, but first I had to break this ice block here. Frankly, why is there an ice block here? That's what I was wondering. Jumping up here, I could see that there was another pad that needed to be activated, and then I remembered the button surrounded by the fire, and so I made my way over there. And here's where I'm making my life harder. Jumping on top of this King Jingling statue head, this is actually the hard way up, because of that gruntling and because of the fire, which can knock you back and all the way back down, like that. But if you go a little to the right of Honeybee's hive there's a jump pad that would put you up on that platform. You can easily take out the gruntling and then you have a better shot at the fire here. Anyway, ice eggs are needed to take those out. And then one into the slot. It made the jump pad appear, and then it was time for a mad dash over there. I fudged the first jump and didn't bother to pick up any more ice eggs on the way up. But we made it up, and so here we go. Here is where we'll call it a video, and in the final part, it's off to Grunty. The final showdown comes next time.